This is Ogo Atwanya from the Vendor Experience Land, and you are watching PAX 8 Live.
No matter where you are in your business journey, PAX 8's Voyager Alliance helps with your success at every stage.
All of our partners are important. They're all incredibly critical part of the PAX 8 ecosystem. They matter to me. I want them all to have an amazing experience that's correct for them.
You can't just ask the clients what they want. You have to spend a lot of effort and energy into reading between the lines on what they're saying and listening in a different way.
What's up, everyone? Happy Wednesday, and welcome to the game on PAX 8 Live, the show where we talk about all the cybersecurity shenanigans you need to be aware of.
So I just wanted to call that out. The Windows Hello is MFA, isn't it, Meryl?
90% of the attacks start with a phishing attack, and
Sure.
Windows Hello just completely stops it.
You know what? All my victims were compliant. They weren't secure. And I'm not telling them to go out and spend $1 gazillion. Change your mindset.
The data does not lie. And so the data shows that security awareness training is the #1 way to combat phishing attacks.
I'm Willis with your co-pilot tip of the week.
They're our fastest growing global distributor partner across all customer solution areas.
It's absolutely a big deal, a huge deal to get recognition from Microsoft.
So excited when you see these rolling around all over Ignite. You know that these are your top partners, vendors, whoever they are. They're actually the ones that are winning awards directly from Microsoft on a global scale.
Let's say since we started working with PAX 8, we've seen our business double, maybe even a little bit more so then. And so the ways that it's helped us grow is just scalability.
All right. Have you ever wondered what it's like for an attacker? Have you ever wondered what it takes for you to start understanding how to actually defend yourself? If so, join us as we jump into how to learn how to hack.
Dom Kirby, Matt Lee, the game.
All right. Well, I'm clearly not Dom Kirby. Dom could not join us today. He is, unfortunately, has left his laptop open. A threat actor compromised it, and he's just not going to be able to join us. No, Dom's not here today, but please make sure to like, share, and subscribe, and do all the things for us on the show. Super excited about the show we're going to get into today. One of the things we're going to be talking about is, how are you?
Sorry.
All good. One of the things we're going to I'll tell you where I'm at right now, actually. I'm at CompTIA CCF in Chicago. Everybody's wrapping up, but because of the time, I don't have a room here. And I don't have Marriott status in a non-Marriott hotel. And therefore, I am doing it now from where they're breaking down the conference. So pardon any intrusions. I'm at CCF. I did win an award last night. It was the community leadership runner-up award. So that was really neat. Congratulations to Henry Tim on that W, and he came away with the prize. But anyways, so I'm at CompTIA. This is a wonderful annual event. But one of the things I want to talk about today is really just, if you were a football coach, right? Imagine with me that you know the game of football, and you're now put in a position to be the defensive coordinator of this football team. Is there any chance that you would say, I'm never going to allow a single yard? Nobody's ever going to run the ball. I'm not going to lose any yards. I'm just going to stop them every set of downs, and we're going to move on. No, that would be somewhat ridiculous, right? But in the same breath, what if you're a defensive coordinator and you don't know that they can throw the ball, and you don't know that they can lateral, and you don't know that they can run it, and you don't know that they can run around the end, and you don't know that they can hand it off to somebody else and pass it, and you don't understand how they block, and you don't understand how they – if you are doing that, that would be ridiculous, right? Okay. Then why do we do defense and not learn to attack? Why do we do defense and not understand the context and contextual value and relevance of tools in your quiver as a threat actor? And what we're coming to is saying, okay, let's start learning how to hack. In the first of that, what I'd love to do is help you get set up with a good box to work from. And so I'm just going to do about a 20-minute demo talking about Kali Linux, and then talking about how you can set up your own box and get it ready with a few tools that we have. So I'm going to switch to that demo. There's going to be a little bit of a cut there, and then I'll see you after that. Okay, I am back. Everybody ready? Everybody got my screen just since I don't have dual monitors? All right, so in this case, I don't have a victim. I'm not demonstrating an adversarial tool directly. We might look at a few of them, but in reality, there's not a victim in this case, so nothing to demo there. The attacker box is what we're here to focus on. And a couple of episodes ago, you saw me using Kali to use things like Trevor Spray and other things that we were demoing. I want to show you how to build your own and get down that path, or at least a little more familiarity with what it is. All right, so we're going to have a Kali Linux box running in VirtualBox. The other thing I'd add is this is a great path to go have your own box, to be able to get very familiar, do it yourself without spending any money, really, at least if you already have some compute resources or things like that. So what do? You could also go and get better training, in my opinion, and better guided scenarios to walk you through this and understand it by using something like tryhackme.com. I think they're like $14, $15 a month. I still pay for mine. I still do my training to try to stay fresh and understand all the different things in the attacker's quiver. Now, I don't think you have to get great at it. I don't know that I'm the best hacker. I'm actually pretty bad. But you have to at least do it enough to understand contextually what's happening so you know what to do to defend it. You're like, oh, a pass. I know how to deal with passes. Oh, runs? Yeah, got you. I know how to deal with that. No problem. And I would just say, I still do this. I've probably fallen a little bit behind. I'm level 13 in the legend status. I think I'm in the top 5 or 6% probably still of people from a score perspective. The other thing I want to talk about, and actually we'll just stay on TryHackMe for a second longer. TryHackMe gives you an attack box when you pay for it. Now, there's a free version, but when you pay for it, you get an attack box. And that attack box is essentially a Kali Linux box that has been pre-configured, pre-tuned. It has things easy for you, like, hey, whenever you need to download something that you would have to do in your normal in your own Kali box, you don't have to do that, right? Because it's already downloaded for you. Like a lot of the scenarios and the things you're going to do come custom equipped and ready with that. So TryHackMe is great. I can't say good enough things about it. It's one of the things that I go to at least weekly and do some more training. Okay, the other thing is, what tools will you need to get this going? You're going to want to download VirtualBox. There's the Oracle VirtualBox, and there's the other open VirtualBox aspect of it. You're going to want to download it for whatever your operating system is. So if that's x86, if that's Mac and an ARM, right, they're going to have a flavor for you. So we're going to already save the time. I've already downloaded and installed that. You may run into some challenges there if you don't have your CPU supporting like VTX, VTXD, or any type of virtualization technology. That's where that could come into a problem. So you might have to fight through that, but you should be able to get that up and running. And then let's talk about, what is Kali? What are we going to be deploying? Kali Linux. What is a penetration testing distribution? As legend tells it, years ago, there was a penetration test in an isolated environment where the assessment team was not able to bring in any computers and have network access in the target environment. In order for the work, first penetration testing distribution was born. It was a bootable live CD. I remember it. I used it, right? It was Backtrack Linux. And you could just run that on any compute platform without bringing anything else in, right? So the CD would be your operating system for that. And this is a lineage of that. So what was it built for? Pen testers, people doing testing and breaking into environments and testing controls. And now they had to bring in an OS that was made for that. All right, what else we have? What are the makings of great pen testing platform? What a pen testing distribution is judged on has changed over the years, right? Because the craft has changed. Originally, it was just how many tools did it hold. Like, did you have 900 tools or 800 tools? Which you do see a lot in Kali and in Parrot, where they come kind of really packaged with tons and tons and tons of tools. Then it was package management, right? As it matured, right? How do we deal with getting this distribution to continue to have relevant features and be configured properly? And in fact, it's interesting because as you deploy Kali, there's still challenges with Kali that you're going to have to fix, and they're not perfect. And so there's several things you'd want to do. One would be absolutely upfront, RTFM, right? Read the blanking manual. So get in and understand the things. And if you have challenges or questions, they make it really easy. Their official documentation is super dope. They have lots of good stuff there. They have a great community. So you really can't run out of support for this. It's fantastic. There is another community project out there that's been, I'd say community, I may be wrong, but it's called Pimp My Kali. And what Pimp My Kali does is it goes in and does, look at these things: fix missing pip3 Golang essentials, set client, fix smb.com, fix Golang, fix Grub, reinstall Mpacket, enable root login, right? Because root login in Kali isn't enabled. You have Kali as a user that's inside that environment. Fix Docker Compose, right? It's just all of these kind of fixes that people have built up. Version 2.0 just came out, which was not too long ago, I think a couple months ago. But it's something we're going to run together to try to make the Kali box work when you try to run stuff. If you don't do that, what happens? When you don't do some things to fix these, you will find yourself running commands that you've copied from someone giving you instruction, and they don't work. And that's because there's just certain dependencies and things that have challenges. And so you have to be able to fix it. And this just makes it super simple. So those are the tools we're going to be going over so far. All right. So let me, and I apologize for the background noise, y'all, but we'll get through it. So let's go to first VirtualBox. Right in here, you can download. There's information. I did go and download and install. And then Pimp My Cali, going through some of this stuff, right? This is their documentation. We're going to go ahead and install Pimp My Cali. We've already done all of this. We're just going to go through this together here in a minute. And then obviously the Try Hack Me. So let's go back here. All right. So I'm going to bring up my Cali box, and we have it signed in. So this is VirtualBox. It's a little virtual machine. What do you do when you get it? I would advise, if you're going to use VirtualBox, to when you're in Cali's download of distros, they do have a virtual platform version that's already made for you. What that does for you is you won't have to do any of the installation steps, right? Because you're just going to be importing a virtual machine. So you'll go in, unzip that package, and then double click on the virtual machine object, which will bring up your already installed VirtualBox, and it'll actually make that VM functional right where it sits, and using those VHDs and the actual configuration file. All right, so let's get into Cali. So I'm going to sign in with Cali. The username and password by default in those distro images is Cali and Cali, right? So you just have Cali, and sign in. So let's explore this a little bit. Actually, I wanted to spend, hold on just a second. I want to go back a second. I want to go back to the browser, and I want to take a look. Oh gosh, I'm terrible here. Excuse me. I think I closed it, but let me go back to the Cali docu. There it is, Cali org docs installation. So in the documentation, when you get into this, you can get into, like I said, introduction, what is it, installation, here's the ISO files. And I wanted to point out, when you're talking about installation, they give you really good instructions for that installation. If you want to do bare bones, if you want to do it in virtual, if you want to do it in a container like Docker, if you want to do it on ARM, they have all of the different kind of guides there. But the one I wanted to poke around in is, what is an adversarial platform? We kind of touched on it just a little bit, but now we're starting to look at, like, what are those tools? And I had a really cool page up. Tools, I'm sorry, y'all. There we go. Okay, tools documentation. So see all this, like all this stuff here, these are all individual tools that have certain functions. Like Bloodhound is a great tool for mapping the Active Directory domains, right? When you have that. AirCrackNG is a wireless set of suites, or a wireless suite. Word lists that are already installed are super dope, and we'll touch on that. In fact, let's just get to it. So user share word list is the directory for our word lists. And if you're not familiar with what is a word lists are used as either words for fuzzing, like fuzzing would be trying to find directories or trying to insert certain words in URLs, web directories and things. Or you have them used for, like, password brute forcing, right? So you have various different word lists for things. Another great example, we demonstrated this earlier with Dom, was we have a word list that has the most common names, first names and last names, in every U.S. state, in the U.S., in Canada, like different countries, that allows you to then say, I want to figure out all the usernames and do some of that brute forcing. We were able to use a word list to generate those, right? And so these word lists are very helpful for a lot of functions. So one of the nice things about Cali is you already have a word list. So let's go look at Cali again real quick. And so here we find ourselves in the word lists directory of our Cali box. And I'm going to clear the screen just so you can not see it just yet. But if we look at this, we have like directories like Derby for Dirbuster, or Derb, and then for Dirbuster, the Dirbuster tool. They have DNSMap, Fast Track. Fast Track is kind of like a really short set of passwords that's used in a lot of training and teaching stuff, right? Because if you take one of those passwords out of that, Fast Track has way less. So like WC-C, Fast Track. Fast Track has 2,430. I think it might be dash. Yeah, WC-C. So 2,430 passwords in there, right? Comparative to if we were to do the same thing on RockU. And if you're not familiar, RockU.txt is, like, at least has been for a very long time, the Bible, and it's changed over time, of passwords that exist out in the world that have been gathered into this one massive password list. And the reason for that is you might want to do brute forcing of passwords, where I'm just going to spray as many passwords as I can at something until something works. It's not as good as a spear phishing or a dedicated kind of credential stuffing, where I know this was someone's password somewhere else, I'm going to use it again somewhere else. It's a lot louder, right? Because I'm just spraying bad passwords at stuff over and over again. But if you look at RockU, it has what? 507, 215, what is that? 507, or that's probably not, what's word list? Hold on. WC-help. Let's look at this. I think I want words, -W, not C. I'm sorry. WC-W. So again, RTFM, right? But in this case, it is 069,442, 14,442,069 passwords in RockU versus WC-W fast track.txt is 261 words. Okay, that matches what I was getting earlier. I was using the wrong command. So the point is, it comes pre-built in with this folder with user share word list. If you were building your own Debian VM or any other Linux VM and you needed these, you'd have to go download them and get them, right? And so what Kali has basically done is kept all of these tools that are created by tons and tons of different people up to date, make them part of the distro, keep them up to date when they're updating them, make sure they work, make sure for the most part the dependencies tie together for themselves. But ultimately, your Kali box becomes where you're going to work from as you're doing testing, as you're doing things in your environment. And some of the cool stuff that comes packed in is things like Greenbone as an example, right? That's an open vulnerability scanner. Well, if you've ever wondered, well, I can't do vulnerability scanning without paying for a tool, that may not be true. Now, does it necessarily scale? Can you use it at scale? Can you integrate it with your other tools? There's maybe not other statements that come to play. But ultimately, what's great about Kali is it comes with almost all the tools you might need to investigate your environment. Why? Because that's what I'm going to do when I'm attacking you in your environment. And so that's what these tools come with, is the things that you need to be successful in that. Okay, we talked about word lists on Kali. Let's take a look, and we'll go back to the other page here, see what other interesting tools might stand out that we want to look at. All right, so word list was a great example. What other tools do we have? We have John, right? John the Ripper. It's a password hash, or like, let's dig into it though. Password cracking. So John the Ripper is a tool designed for system administrators to find weak, easy to crack, brute force passwords and even automatically mail users warning about. So yeah, John the Ripper, various different functions. What's great about it is you start looking at these tools and digging into them and using them, especially if you're using them in like Try Hack Me or some guided scenario. You'll start learning and understanding what they're doing. When somebody comes out and says, oh, well, this just happened, you'd be like, that was probably Responder, or that was Metasploit, right? That's also one of the biggest things that comes in Kali that we should probably explore next is let's take a look at Metasploit console. And we'll probably do a whole dedicated show on Metasploit just because of what it is. But MSF console, right? We want to go console. It'll launch Metasploit. Metasploit was created, and I'm not sure it was just HD Moore, but HD Moore was one of the primary people that made the Metasploit framework. What it allows you to do is have tons and tons of tests and things that you can use right there at your fingertips without a lot of learning. I say that with a grain of salt, without having to do a lot of digging. For example, let's say I'm looking for a vulnerability in Cake Shop. I can just say search Cake. Right, and it'll come up with vulnerabilities of like, oh, Cake PHP has a cache corruption code execution. There's an exploit for like, so you can just kind of search like search Windows XP or something to that nature, right? I guess XP is going to get exploits, but Windows free sound effects XP. I guess that didn't help all that much, but anyways, the point being, I think you can see you can get all these exploits, and then you can just be like use 06. Or 05, right? And now you can see that we've selected a payload that is attacking Windows XP, SPO, SP1. No payload necessarily, but a methodology there. I don't want to beat this to death, but Metasploit is one of those platforms that's included in this automatically that I don't have to go and get to do this. All right, we talked about Pimp My Kali, so let's do this. So let's go ls. We're going to go cd / make fun of me for this, but home / Kali. Okay, so I've already downloaded Pimp My Kali. That would be done with just a git clone and then the web address. So git space clone space web address. And we saw that in the instructions for this when we were looking at it for how to do Pimp My Kali in their page. They said, hey, listen, rm-rf to remove the old one, clone it, cd into it, and run Pimp My Kali. So we're going to do that. In fact, I'm just going to save time, and I'll copy their command, even though it probably would be just as fast for me to type it at this point. But all right, fair enough. Get back to where you can see it. I'm having to do my own switching here, y'all, so I apologize. I'm not very fast. Okay, so we're just going to kind of cd into Pimp My Kali, and then we're going to paste clipboard Pimp My Kali, and then we'll put in our password. And it's just going to come up and say, okay, what would you like to do? Would you like to 1, fix missing things, 2, right? 0, fix only 1 through 2, in. I'm going to do in. And in it says new VM setup. Run this option if this is the first time running Pimp My Cali, and it is. I just built this VM, 15 minutes ago. So we're going to say new, and new menu selection. Press yes or no to confirm. Yes. It's just going to run through, and it's going to say, hey, download these packages. I didn't actually think about that. That may create us some challenges here just from a timing perspective. We'll see how good the hotel Wi-Fi is on this. But essentially, it's going to download the packages it needs. It's going to go ahead and install and fix dependencies and run the things that need to be done, right? And talking about, like, root login is going. Deb source space, found with sources list on, so it's just going through all those things and telling you what it's fixing. It's fascinating to read what it's doing. But ultimately, it just makes it, when you start running Python dependencies, Golang, other things, not have some of those challenges like with pip and other things that could come out with Kali from that perspective. So, all right, we'll let that run in the background, and we'll keep exploring a few tools while that's doing its thing. And then, like I said, this is meant to be just a little bit of an introduction into this. But all right, so let's go back to the browser. So we're doing the Pimp My Cali. We did N for the new setup, so we're good there. And like I said, community project, they've taken a lot of people that have helped and made stuff in this to help make this right. Looks like they added ARM support and a few other things. Interesting. Okay, but anyways, back to Kali. Let's explore more tools. So dir-B is for finding directories. BetterCap is a Wi-Fi and Bluetooth and other type platform. FFUF, right? FUF. Is a fast web fuzzer. Again, fuzzing is trying to find directories, like finding that hidden web admin directory or other things, right? And so they fuzz with those word lists that we've got to try to find. Oh, the fuzz faster, you fool. How do I not know FUF stood for that? I feel silly. But ultimately, that's the point, is if you can go get your lab set up, your virtual machine set up, you can now go through and do various pieces of this. Like they've got Wireshark and PowerShell. There was one I wanted to show you all down here. I saw it when we were flying by it. Where's Responder? Do you see Responder on the screen? Let's see. Mimikatz for dumping passwords. But a lot of these can be found in Metasploit. Like Mimikatz is certainly doable through Metasploit, deploying that. In packet scripts. Crack map exec, right? There's just so many good things. But as you dig into them, you'll start understanding, wait, there's tools that do this? Okay, this makes sense. Now I understand when I saw that Mimikatz pop up, and I'm being a little bit facetious there. Most people know what that is. I was looking for Responder. I bet it's in the R's. Oh, Evil Win RM. Right, great stuff. Yeah. But as you dig in, you'll learn more and more. Are these in alphabetic order? And I'm just not very smart. It's very possible. Let's try searching. I bet I can search Responder. And we'll probably actually do a demo of Responder probably soon too. Responder is basically a LLMNR poisoning tool, right? This package contains a LLMNR, NTBS, MDNS poisoner. It will answer basically to queries based on their name suffix. So like if I wanted to take over a network, I might use this tool in Active Directory to ask other devices by pretending to be the DNS server to give me their hashes, to pass me their hashes in a natural communication process, right? And so Responder is really great for getting passwords, getting hashes, getting that side of it, if I remember correctly fully. But anyways, the point is, this is how you have to start to learn, right? Is we start by exploring and playing around. And I'm trying to see if Kali is done. It is not done. We're still waiting on things. So I might have ended our episode a little early just by doing the Pimp My Kali. But what you'll wind up with is a fully functional Kali box, at least with it, maybe a couple quirks you have to deal with, and the ability to start using those things without having as many of the command failures. So if you're not familiar with Pimp My Kali, virtual box, right, virtualization on your host to run that virtual machine, and then installing Kali, and then ultimately, right, doing the Pimp My Kali so that everything is going to work for you. That's really what I wanted to cover in this episode predominantly, was just you should start doing adversarial things, right? And for example, and we can dig around a little bit in TryHackney just because this is a hacking-centered episode. So let's go to I don't think I'm sharing that screen yet. TryHack. Let me go fix that. You're seeing the worst audio, the worst production crew here in the world right here in my bench. Sorry about that, y'all. All right. So like what we can do is we could go in and search and say, you know what, it looks like they're having 25% subscription down right now. There is challenges learned that you can do, right? You can go figure out stuff and you can search for things. Like if I want to do Eternal Blue, right? I can search in here and there's going to be something that has Eternal Blue stuff to look at and to learn. And I've done quite a few of them. Let's see, what else can we look at? Remember Print Nightmare? It allows you to go play with these, right? And look at Print Nightmare. This one's actually a capture the flag. I have not done this. What's great about it is you're going to start an attack box, right? And we talked about that attack box. I'm just going to hit start attack box once I join this room and start the machine, and it'll allow me to start attacking it, right, against this machine. But this is actually looking like it's one. It says after discovering Print Nightmare's attack, the Print Nightmare exploit used previously no longer works. Although all is well. Unfortunately, the same 2 employees discovered yet another exploit that can work on a fully patched. So they set up these scenarios for you. They build the machines, and you can just say, join this room, and then you can start machine, and you can go start your attack box over here, and you'll be able to go do the stuff you're going to do. It looks like this is actually an interactive machine, so I probably don't need an attack box. That's why they haven't given it. But maybe I'm wrong. Anyways, the intention is you can go get in and get learning. And if you aren't necessarily already ready to start going down that path, they do have training paths, right? So you can go in and come to hands-on learning and say, I want to do this path, right? And so there's roadmaps. There's cybersecurity roadmap, the pre-security, cybersecurity 101, pen testing, right? You can see my percentages that I've completed in all these, like 29%, 40%, 23%. And when you go in, you're like, all right, I want to resume learning in SOC level 1. It'll take you through all of these kind of pieces. Like, okay, first, let me teach you about what SOC is. Now let me teach you about hashes and what hashes can mean for you. And hey, why don't you go run and test a hash in VirusTotal, and then IP, right? So they're just taking you down all of the things. And now I remember what this is about, the pyramid of pain. How to utilize this model to understand the level of difficulty it takes for an adversary to change indicators associated with them. So it's just a really cool walk through that. All right, I think I've beat this concept up enough. But the intention is really just to say, if you are not starting to learn that, or you don't have members of your team that are starting to learn that, then when you see things, you won't understand them contextually, which means you also will have challenges actually defending yourself and setting things and understanding the impact of the setting. All right, so I think I've just left it blank, so I'm going to switch back to just me and wrap this thing up. All right, I hope you will go build a Kali box and install it, even virtual or physical install, or if not, if you don't want to do all that work to build a lab, you can go do Try Hack Me and start walking through lessons and just make it part of your day. And that's pretty much it. I guess we could go to play of the game. I've already kind of played of the game, but let's wrap the show, y'all. All right. Cool. Appreciate y'all. Thank you for being here. Go learn adversarial techniques.